This story was nearly lost until someone whispered it to the flames. Pull up a log, take a seat, let the dark settle in. Because once the fire starts speaking, it doesn't stop. Some say the stories it remembers are just legends. Others say they happen exactly this way. But you'll have to decide for yourself. Welcome to Campfire Invocations. True stories of rituals, regrets, and things that shouldn't have been summoned. The demon behind the closet mirror. I wasn't raised religious, but I was raised curious. My grandmother left me her house when she died. I was 25 and broke, so I moved in the next day. She had always been odd, more superstitious than spiritual. No mirrors in her bedroom, a red thread over every door. Bowls of salt beneath the windows. I thought it was charming. Maybe a little sad. Now I know it was protective. The mirror in her closet was the only one in the whole house, covered with a black cloth and duct tape. It faced the closet wall. Nailed shut, actually. I didn't think anything of it until one night, drunk and laughing with friends. I peeled the cloth off and dared myself to look into it. The glass didn't show my reflection. It was like looking through a dark tunnel, one that shouldn't be there. There was no wall behind it, just a shimmering black depth. My friends stopped laughing. One of them whispered, "Cover it, now." But I didn't. I was already obsessed. I didn't sleep that night. I kept going back to the mirror. I started researching mirrors and folklore, portals, gateways, cursed objects. The usual Reddit rabbit hole. And that's when I found the invocation of the Watcher behind the glass. Supposedly an old ritual used by witches to summon something, not from this world, something that could grant favors. If you ask correctly, I told myself it was just a game. The ritual required a black candle, salt in a perfect circle, and a drop of blood on the mirror itself, at midnight. You speak the Watcher's name 7 times. The name wasn't written phonetically, but I guessed. I got it mostly right. I wish I hadn't. The mirror rippled like a disturbed pond. My reflection blinked, but I hadn't, and then it smiled. My mouth stayed still. It told me it had been waiting. It told me it could make me powerful, loved, feared. All I had to do was feed it. At first, it only asked for small things. Cut your palm and press it to the glass. Leave a slice of raw meat under the mirror. Bury a dead animal in the closet. But then it asked for something living. Something with a voice. The mirror began to glow at night. I'd hear whispering from behind it, voices I didn't recognize. Sometimes my reflection would watch me from the corner of my eye, even when I wasn't looking at the mirror. I tried to stop, tried to leave. But every time I packed a bag, the roads outside my town would loop back to the house. Every car I borrowed died before it reached the freeway. My phone's GPS just spun in circles. It wanted me home. And then the accidents started. My coworker died in a house fire the day after I mentioned him. My ex got in a car crash. My dog disappeared. I realized I wasn't feeding the thing. It was feeding off me, off my hate, my grief, my fear. So I made one last deal. I offered it myself. I stood in the salt circle, spoke its name, asked it to take me, and only me, if it would never hurt anyone else again. It laughed. I woke up on the floor. The mirror was back to normal. My reflection matched me again. I was alone. I moved out, burned the closet door, never looked into a mirror again without flinching, but every once in a while, when I'm half asleep, I see my reflection blink just a beat too late, and sometimes it still smiles. The witch's teeth on the walls. We didn't mean to disturb anything. It started when my boyfriend Eric and I bought an old fixer-upper in rural Maine. It was dirt cheap, too cheap, but we told ourselves we just got lucky. The listing said it had old bones. Turns out, that wasn't a metaphor. On the second night, I heard scratching behind the bedroom wall. At first, I blamed squirrels. But it didn't sound like scratching on wood. It sounded like something scratching from inside the wall. And it only happened between 3 o'clock and 3:33 a.m. We tried ignoring it, then we found the bones. Eric was pulling out old insulation when a section of wall collapsed, revealing a cavity behind the drywall. Inside was a bundle of cloth, tightly wrapped like a doll, or a shrunken corpse. I unwrapped it. It was a human jawbone, still wired, still bloody. Every tooth had been filed to a point. Wrapped in the bundle was a note. Not paper, parchment. The handwriting was inked in something that had browned with age. It read, "Her hunger must be buried." Her words never spoken. "Do not unbind the mouth." I wanted to call the police. Eric said it was probably some messed up historical artifact. We argued, but I let it go. That night, the scratching got louder. The next morning, we woke to bite marks on the wall. Not chewed, etched. Perfect human teeth marks, 2 rows, like a smile. Eric wanted to laugh it off. I didn't. I found more signs. Feathers under the bed, broken doll limbs in the chimney, A black handprint beneath the bathtub, child-sized, but with claws. That night, I had a dream. A woman stood in the woods behind our house wearing a rotted red shawl. Her mouth was stitched shut with rusted wire, but she whispered anyway, her voice like broken glass. She said, "The mouth is open. Feed me or seal me." I woke to screaming. Eric was in the kitchen. His lips had been bitten clean through. Blood poured from his mouth as he sobbed, pointing at the wall. I looked. There was a hole, perfectly round, not through brick and wood, and behind it, a single human eye watching. We left that night. We sealed the wall with iron and salt, burned the parchment, buried the jaw in consecrated ground, but it didn't work. 2 weeks later, I found Eric's teeth on our doorstep. Just the teeth. Still bloody, still warm. No sign of him, no prints, no blood trail. And the worst part, one of the teeth wasn't his. It was filed to a point. My cousin summoned a god on TikTok. I know how this sounds, but please hear me out. My cousin Marin always wanted to be famous. First it was YouTube beauty tutorials, then paranormal TikToks. She had this whole aesthetic going black candles, thrifted velvet, fake antique books. She wasn't into witchcraft for real, just the look. She did these ritual reaction videos where she'd try old spells she found online. Most of them were harmless turning water to blood with food dye, fake summoning spells with dramatic lighting, until she found something in an old Latin grimoire posted to a locked subreddit called Divine Rot. It was titled Ad Venerandum Vias Obscurum, to worship the forgotten god. It was just a chant. 4 lines, 1 candle, 1 mirror. A bowl of salt water. It seemed fake, theatrical even. But the comments were weird, not scared, obsessed. People kept saying things like, "He finally spoke to me last night," or "His name itches behind my teeth now." One person said, "Whatever you do, don't say it out loud online." Marin loved it. She said it would be her viral moment. So she made the video. The TikTok was under a minute. She said the chant in a dimly lit room with candlelight flickering and some fake static. She ended the video with her usual tagline, "If this gets 50,000 likes, I'll try it again at 3 a.m. It hit 1 million views in 3 hours. She got her wish. That night, I woke to 14 missed FaceTime calls from her. By the time I called back, she was gone. Not dead, just missing, but the video kept playing. She was still in the background, blurred, pacing back and forth. The light behind her began to flicker. Then the audio glitched, reversed. I downloaded the file, replayed it at half speed. The chant twisted itself. The words didn't match what she originally said. And I swear, I heard a second voice, deeper, layered beneath hers. I started seeing strange comments, not typical trolling. These were written in alphabet I didn't recognize. Glyphs, spirals, diagrams. Some were just numbers and locations. I thought I was losing my mind. Then I got a message from an anonymous account. She's with him now. But she smiled when she went. That night, I opened TikTok to delete her profile, and she was live. The screen was black, but there were whispers. Thousands were watching, and then her face appeared. Not all of it. Just her mouth, smiling. Her teeth were wrong. Too many, too sharp. Her lips moved, but no sound came out. The stream ended abruptly, and when I went to check her account, it was gone. Not banned. Just erased, like she never existed. Her parents filed a missing persons report. No one could find her. Her bedroom, completely empty, like no one had ever lived there. Every photo, every post gone, but the chant? It's still online, circulating. Every few days, someone reposts it, tries it, laughs, and then they disappear too. I don't know what she summoned. Maybe it was never a demon. Maybe it was something older, hungrier. But if you see the video, if you hear the chant, don't repeat it. Even whispering it is enough to catch its attention. And once it hears you, it never forgets. The ritual my family does before a funeral. Most people light candles, say prayers, bring flowers. But my family, we bury the name. You probably think that's metaphorical. I wish it were. Every time someone in our bloodline dies, we hold a ceremony. It's never spoken about openly. There's no priest, no church. Just a hollowed out patch of earth on family land, a circle of stones, and the name of the deceased written on paper 3 times. Once in black ink, once in blood, once in ash. It's folded and buried under moonlight. No cameras, no phones, no outsiders. I never asked why. It was just something we did. I always assumed it was a weird cultural tradition, superstition, until my Uncle Charlie died, and I didn't bury his name. I was angry. Charlie had been cruel to my mother. He was a drunk, a bitter man with a violent temper. He left behind nothing but pain. So when my father asked me to write his name 3 times and bring it to the clearing, I refused. I won't help honor a monster, I told him. My father didn't argue. He just looked afraid. For the first time, I saw it, real fear in his eyes. It's not about honoring him, he said. It's about containing him. I still didn't believe it, not fully, until the scratching started. It came from inside the walls, first small, like mice, then heavier, like fingernails, clawing. At night, I heard breathing in my room just behind my headboard. My dog refused to go near the hallway. One morning, I woke to find my name scratched into the wooden floor beside my bed. It was in his handwriting. I called my father. I was shaking. He didn't even say hello. You didn't bury the name, he said. Did you? I drove 6 hours that night, back to the family land. I brought paper, a knife, and a candle. I wrote his name in ink, in blood, in ash. But something felt wrong. The clearing was cold, and not just the air. The ground felt wrong. The stones weren't where they'd always been. They were scattered, cracked, like something had crawled through. I tried to bury the name, but the dirt wouldn't take it. The earth rejected it, spat the paper back up like a bad offering. Then I saw him, my uncle. But not as I remembered. His body was bloated, waterlogged like a drowned man, even though he died in a hospital bed. His mouth hung open too wide. His eyes were solid black, and his voice, it wasn't a voice. It was 1,000 insects buzzing in my skull. You missed your chance, it said. Now I wear yours. I don't remember driving home. I don't remember anything until I woke up on my floor, bleeding from the nose, with a torn piece of paper in my hand. My name, written in blood, 3 times. I burned it. Buried the ashes under salt, but I still hear him sometimes. In dreams, in mirrors, and on bad nights when I wake up gasping, drenched in sweat. I can't remember my own name. Just his. Pause. Story 5. The basement wasn't part of the house plans. I'm a contractor. Built homes for over 20 years. I've seen it all, found bones in walls, old Ouija boards sealed under floors, even a bathtub full of dolls someone drywalled over. But nothing like this. My crew and I were working on a remote plot of land in Vermont. Rich clients from Boston wanted a vacation home. Clean lines, big windows, modern everything. They gave us digital plans. No basement, just a single slab foundation. 2 weeks in, we started digging out the crawl space and hid stone, not granite, not rock, brick, old dark red brick. Mortared centuries ago. I thought maybe it was an old farm root cellar, but it went deeper. My guys broke through a patch of soft earth and found stairs spiraling, narrow, leading down. There was no record of it. No historical structure. It shouldn't have been there. But it was, I told the client. They said to seal it. Forget it. I didn't. I went back at night, alone. Something about it felt wrong. Like a pulled muscle in the air, but I needed to know. I brought a flashlight, camera, and crowbar. Every step echoed. The staircase was too tight. The walls were carved stone now, not brick. The deeper I went, the warmer it got. Then I found the chamber. It was circular, smooth, lit by candles that hadn't burned out. 6 of them, in a ring. And in the center, an altar. It was made of bone. Not stacked, grown. It looked like vertebrae fused into one twisted pillar. Something old and wrong. My flashlight flickered. I heard chanting whispers coming from nowhere. Then from somewhere behind me, I turned around and there was a woman, naked, covered in black symbols, her mouth sewn shut. She raised one hand, snapped her fingers, and the stairs were gone. Just solid wall where I came from. I don't remember how long I screamed. Eventually, she walked backward into the stone like it absorbed her. I passed out. When I woke up, I was in my truck, parked at the job site. 6 hours had passed. My crew said they hadn't seen me leave. My tools were gone. I asked if anyone had gone near the crawl space. They told me it was bricked up. No opening. Just solid foundation. But I looked at the house plans again later. At the digital files. There was a basement. Only it had been added the day after I found it. By someone who wasn't me. The blueprint notes were signed with a name I didn't recognize. But I've seen it since, carved on the altar. Whispers in my dreams. Scrawled in mud on my windshield. The name isn't in English. Or any language I know. But it's watching. Waiting. And it wants me to dig again. If the flame spoke to you tonight, leave a comment. Let the fire know you were here by liking the video. And if you want to hear what the flames remember next, click the video on the screen. Subscribe to take your place by the flames before the fire fades.